Cincinnati, Ohio's very own William Howard Taft was not only president, he was the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, and he loved that job more than he did president. Taft once spoke about how the public looked at a judge, and it's great. He said that a judge, by the way, we're not talking about God complex here. We're talking about how the public perceives a judge to be God, and that every judge in every situation should take upon themselves all the characteristics that we see in God and use those in running their courtroom and dispensing justice. Now just think about that. How do we perceive God? Strong. We see him as loving, compassionate, yet stern, and be able to do all this. I always think about that all the time over my legal career when I've been in front of judges. And folks, I want to tell you something right now. With few exceptions, they come up way short of that. You find judges petty, mean, vindictive, stupid. I mean, you just name it. It goes on and on and on every day. And you know what? Everyday Americans know what judge you get can make all the damn difference in the world. I want to talk about some topics, some legal topics in the news and some general issues because I'm just in the mood to do it. First, Thomas Barak, who was a Trump ally who was arrested yesterday in LA. This is the guy that put on the inaugural in 2016, early 2017. This is the guy that was very close to Trump. He was arrested because apparently he was a foreign agent for United Arab Emirates trying to influence things. Now, I just want to say this. When you think about, and I don't know all the facts yet, none of us do, but my first reaction to that is, really? I mean, when you think about all of what goes on in Washington, D.C. every day with 535 congressmen and senators, 435 congressmen and 100 senators, and everybody in that federal swamp, and all the presidents and all the people around them, why this guy? Why this guy? Why this guy? And there's something in the law that each prosecutor, it's called prosecutorial discretion. Every state and federal prosecutor passes on going after people that are guilty of crimes in their discretion every day. And then in their discretion, they go after somebody. So who you are and what your politics are can determine whether you get prosecuted or not. It is, in fact, a very unfair system. Very unfair. Meanwhile, speaking of unfair, think of all the Black Lives Matter members who've destroyed our cities violently. They have had their charges across this country dropped in black privilege. Meanwhile, you got some white people who walked in to the Capitol and didn't destroy jack getting 8 months because they're white. It is amazing how what bothered the black militant movement, they're cool with it happening to whites. Martin Luther King Jr. would not be. There was a DaVita. DaVita is an evil company. DaVita is a corporation that owns and handles dialysis equipment. And they make all these deals all across the country. Well, they have just been indicted and charged criminally, including the CEO, with controlling who gets hired where with their partners and everything else. I wonder why. I mean, corporate healthcare greed in the hospital system, the pharmaceutical system, the medical supply business is unbelievable in this country. They got indicted. Now, why all of the people connected to all of the evil, in addition to Durrani and the Durrani litigation, are indicted? I don't know. White Boy Rick, what a story this guy is. You know, he spent more time in prison for what he, quote unquote, did than anybody else. He was an FBI informant at 14. And then they rung him up. He's filed a $100 million lawsuit. You know why he'll lose? He's white boy Rick. If he was black boy Rick, he'd have a chance. Pfizer has recalled Chantix. So if you're using Chantix, stop. This is crazy. Chantix is being recalled because it has carcinogens in it. Now, how they didn't know that, I don't know. And it's to get people to stop smoking. Can't make that one up. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I want to then hit four items about the legal profession. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a lawyer, and he agreed with me. He actually had said the idea to me. He goes, what would happen if all the lawyers in this country that weren't part of the legal establishment, bar association, just said, we're not going to adhere to your BS anymore? You would not believe. See, the whole bar association, which is ran by the big defense firms in this country, run the bar. And all the lawyers that hate it let it happen. He said, why shouldn't there just be a big revolt where all the lawyers said, hey, we're not going to belong to your organizations anymore? The other thing I want to attack the lawyer is you would not believe in the trenches of the law field how lazy lawyers are. I will tell you that if you compare the legal profession with all of the other professions, the medical profession, the accounting profession, the engineering profession, there is no question the laziest profession from top to bottom are lawyers. You would not believe how lazy legal profession is. Law schools. Another thing I want to point out to you is law schools. Everybody's worried about critical race theory being taught in the schools, and you should be. I just want to tell you right now, law schools are just, nobody talks about it and forgets about it. Law schools. Now just think about this. Just like Al Pacino's character in Devil's Advocate, the laws and everything. Laws. Lawyers are involved in everything. Law schools are churning out liberal lawyers nonstop every year, year after year. Liberal as hell. And then they go in to run things. It's happening. Last but not least, political donations. There was a story that I read about Morgan & Morgan and these other law firms, how much money they give to the politicians, including Joe Biden and whatnot. I mean, it's off the charts. How corrupt as hell. There is no more corrupt and evil system than the judicial and legal system in this country. It's unbelievable. And it's my calling to point it all out, which I will continue to do. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I hope you have a great day.